Hey guys, how you doing? Dave the Raw Food Trucker here, and I'm really excited because I want to talk to you guys just for 2 or 3 minutes here about the power of grasses, juicing grasses, and the power of alfalfa and juiced alfalfa, and bringing that into your lives. Before I get into this, I just wanted to, for those of you that don't know of me or haven't heard of me or don't remember me, this is a shirt I was wearing, and this is how much weight I've lost and kept off over 2.5 years now. And basically what happened with me was I've lost over 200 pounds in a year and a half. I reversed acid reflux in less than 10 days. I reversed kidney problems. My kidneys were leaking proteins into my blood system. If you Google that, you'll find that is, I was told specifically by a doctor, it was irreversible. After 11 months, I no longer have proteins leaking into my kidneys. I got off of all my diabetic medications in 4 days. My blood sugars just plummeted, and that was really due to juicing and a living foods diet. And what I wanted to do was just talk to you guys a little bit today about what I discovered. I called it rocket fuel when I first tried it and discovered it. The maker of this stuff is Hallelujah Acres, to give them a little plug. And they have a very good product. They call it Barley Max. It's got 80% barley and 20% alfalfa. But they really, I don't know if they discovered it, someone else discovered it. But the bottom line is what they were doing was it's juiced, dehydrated under 118 degrees, and then they dehydrate the actual juice. And so I now have a distributor that does this, and they run it up through a pressure system in a pipe at under 118 degrees, and it sprays out in these mistifiers. And then as the juice settles in the air, by the time it gets down to the ground, to the trays, it is dried, and it actually has no fiber in it whatsoever. When I discovered this stuff, I called it rocket fuel, and I spent a good portion of time, money, and effort in trying to understand why it was making this change in my life. Why did I feel so incredibly boosted by this? I've been on 3 90-day juice feasts, 1 4-month juice feast. I add this stuff to all of my juices. Anybody that knows me, why do I add it? Because I can't find it in a grocery store growing live, very rarely. On top of that, it just is a lot of work in my life when I can still get the phytonutrient and the base and everything from the dark green leafy grasses and from the alfalfa. Really, the reality is that, like, when I started looking into this, I tracked down the wheatgrass messiah, and I flew all the way down to Ecuador to spend a couple weeks with this guy and learn from him how to pick wild grass. And he was also wheatgrass juicing. He's one of the people that's credited with helping to bring wheatgrass to the United States back in the 60s. He's mentioned in the wheatgrass book. And I really got into researching this out and looking at it. What I discovered was that in the grasses, in the grasses alone, there is so much chlorophyll in it. It's absolutely phenomenal. On top of that, when you start getting into looking at the alfalfa plant is a shrub. It will grow its roots up to 100 feet deep into the ground in search of nutrients in the soil to feed itself. Guess where the most phytonutrient-rich alfalfa found on the planet is? It's grown right here in the United States in Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains. When I found this out and I started looking into all this and trying to figure all this out, I actually drove out to Colorado Rocky Mountains and went to a farm that was growing and harvesting the alfalfa. And most of the alfalfa is actually raised for racehorses and things like that. Most people don't realize that. The reality is, where are we going to find alfalfa and where are we going to find grasses? Because I'll be the first to tell you that the best way to do it is to juice it straight from the earth. But the reality is that 99% of us are not going to do that. Ever since I discovered what I call this rocket fuel, what I've been doing is I add a teaspoon. Now I add an ounce to 3 ounces a day, but I started with a teaspoon a day. And the only thing I can describe to you, for me, what I believe it was doing was it was flooding my body with the phytonutrients, antioxidants, beta carotenes, the chlorophyll, the vitamins, the minerals. It's just, it's really what we're missing in our diet in America today. And to this day, I take these powders and I add them to the juices that I'm already making. This is it's a great way to just get the juice straight into our bodies. Everything that I have, I'm selling 3 products, and I'm announcing it today. I'm selling it on my website at daveconrardy.com. That's DaveConrardy.com. Again, DaveConrardy.com. I'm selling other products too, but the reality is that what I'm trying to do is to get America, Canada, and Europe to really wake up to what I believe is one of the most important ingredients into the healing process, and that is the dark green leafy vegetable juices, and to take it even a step further, the grasses and the alfalfa. To give you an example of this, on the phytonutrient chart, it goes up to about 1,000, kale's around 980, spinach, I believe, is between 430 and 450. But how many people here are even aware that in a dark green leafy vegetable, in the leaf itself of the beet, there is 1,800 times the amount of vitamin K in a beet leaf than there is in the beet itself? I mean, I started researching all this out, and all that pales in comparison when you get into grasses and the alfalfa plant. I mean, why don't we see alfalfa on a phytonutrient chart? It's because it's so fibrous that our bodies can't digest it. It would take us 2 stomachs to process the alfalfa. So we can't eat it. But the beauty of it is we can juice it. Now, I came across someone a few months back, and they said, well, juicing isn't found in nature, so I don't juice. And I'm like, no, you're absolutely right. But a couple of things. A, I'm a realist, and B, I'm a pragmatist, if you will. And the reality is that we live in a culture today where I'm going to take what I can get. And if you really think about it, we as a human race have not had to battle with things such as air pollution, with oil, with plastics. For the first time in human history, in the last 50 years, we've been poisoning our food system and calling it conventional products. The reality is it's pesticides and it's poison. So anything that we can do to help our bodies fight any of this off, I am all for. And this is such a simple thing. It sells for $40 for 8 ounces. To launch it, we have it on sale on my website for $30 for 8 ounces plus shipping and handling. The reality is that there is no doubt in my mind that with the mass amounts of chlorophyll, I tracked down a guy known as the wheatgrass messiah, flew down to Ecuador to meet him and learn how to do wild grass juicing. I tracked down a fellow named Olin, one of the nutritionalists for Hallelujah Acres, because I was trying to figure out what is in this green stuff that makes me feel like rocket fuel. Why is it that I have so much energy and I'm not eating any meat any longer? Why is it that all this other stuff's going on? Why is it that I feel all this stuff dumping into my body? And really what it came down to is as the body adjusts and the chlorophyll starts permeating the body, the reality is that what I was doing without realizing it was I was flooding my body with antioxidants, beta carotenes, phytonutrients, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and my body just started feeling it and adjusting to it. And eventually the cravings went away, and eventually things like the colon cancer that I had I had late stage 1 colon cancer. It was gone in 6 months. Got off all my diabetic meds. I got off of 19 prescription medications in 6 months and 6 over-the-counter medications as well. I got off of acid reflux. It was just completely gone in less than 10 days. Days, people, not weeks, not months, not years. Days. If you Google the thing that I had going on, my kidneys were leaking proteins into my blood system. And if you Google this, my doctors told me that it was irreversible. And if you Google it, you'll see that that's what they say. Yet, after 11 months, I have had no proteins leaking into my blood system from my kidneys at all. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. And I credit this to the dark green leafy vegetables and, more importantly, to discovering about the grasses and the alfalfa and learning how to get that into my system. Now, we can't just go buy the grasses at a store. You can, a few of them will have trays of wheatgrass, but it's really hard to do, and it doesn't fit into most people's lifestyles. But we can take this powder. It's juiced under 118 degrees, sent up through a mistifier, and then as it air dries down to the trays, it dries into a powder. It's actually juiced. It's 100% organic, and there's absolutely no fiber in it. And it's what I've been calling rocket fuel now for 4 years. And I'm just proud to say that I'm selling it. And I've dedicated my life to spreading the word about the fact that I believe that a raw, organic, living diet is probably the most healing diet on the planet. And with that said, how do we implement some of that into what we want to do to stay healthy, to keep at a nutritional maximum? This is one of the ways that we can do it. We take a teaspoon of that powder, we put it in some water, and in a bottle or a jar, and we shake it up. It doesn't mix well when you stir it, and it doesn't blend well. It gets real foamy. But mixing it up in a bottle, and I add it to all my juices, and you can too. So I'm just really excited. That's really kind of what I wanted to put out in this short video, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to it. Blessings to everyone out there.